Why is it that divorce among African families are on the rise, especially Africans who are in diaspora, African families who are overseas? Why is it that the rate of divorce has astronomically increased? What are the reasons? Let's get after it. Hello everyone, welcome to JSP Ambience Luxury. My name is Jenny and I am the owner and creator of JSP Ambience Luxury. Today is our segment called The Strength of a Woman. Let me remind you, mothers, wives, girlfriends, girl child, we are the finest of all God's creation. It is a statement of fact. Let's talk about why divorce is on the rise among African families who are in diaspora, among African families who are overseas, who are in abroad. Why is divorce on the rise? Okay, I got some few answers for you. I have good intake on why there are divorces or why divorce is on the rise. I was divorced and I didn't fight for divorce. I just woke up, found out that I was divorced. I didn't know that I was going to be divorced. I just woke up, somebody sent me my divorce paper and boom, I was divorced. Didn't know my divorce was already 1 year old while I was still living with the man in the house. So my situation is different. So now, one of the reasons why divorce is on the rise in African homes is because, number one, when men come overseas, when our family, when we move to America or to England or overseas in general, men still expect women to behave and think and still do the things that they used to do back home. So let me give you a little bit of background. Back home, primarily men do the work. Men go get the money. Men go out in the morning to go hunt. It's the duty of the wives to cook the food. It's the duty of the wives to take care of the children. It's the duty of the wife to do domestic work. So now, when you come overseas, when you come to America or Europe or anywhere, the reverse is the case. Here in America especially, women do the work. Women go to work. Women, you find out that a lot of Africans are nurses. African women are nurses. So you find out that a woman will work 20 hours. A wife will work 20 hours, while the husband probably is doing correction office work, or is doing, it's not as men here, African men don't work as much as women work. So when we come back from work, we expect that at least a man should be able to take care of the home. A man should be able to do some domestic work. Since we are at work bringing in majority of the money. But now the problem is men don't want to do the thing that women would normally do. You don't expect a woman to go to work, come back home, she work 20 hours, come back home, still clean the house, still cook, still take care of the children, and still take care of him, babe. Then when she doesn't do that, you know what men say? I'm gonna be really succinct in my description of our men. You know what men will say? Oh, if in Africa, back home, you will not behave like this. Back home, women don't talk like this. Back home, women take care of the home. Back home, women do this. But you forget that back home, women really don't go to work. Back home, women stay home and take care of the children. While you, the men, go and bring in the money. So when you come back in the night, the food is blazing hot, waiting for you on the dinner table. Or at the dinner table, the food is waiting for you there. That's the duty of the wives. But now the women are doing most of the work, but you still expect them to behave. And I have a friend of mine who was telling me that when he brought his wife here. He never knew that his wife was going to change. So when he brought his wife, the wife wanted him to, help out in the house because the children were little, help out in the house. He wouldn't want to help out. And on weekends, he would go to the club. When the wife would complain, he would tell the wife that you shut up. In Africa, I could marry 5 wives. I could marry 10 wives. Well, the wife said, this is not Africa. This is America. You can't do stuff like that. So after they went through divorce, he was telling me that in Africa, he could do what he wanted to do. I said, but you are not in Africa, you are in America. So when you are here, you have to behave, you have to imbibe with the culture of this country. The problem that a lot of African men have is they want to eat their cake and at the same time have it. You want your wife to go to work, do this and do that, and come back home and still take care of the family. She's a woman. She's not an iron. She's a woman. One day she's going to break down. One day she's going to be overwhelmed. So that's one of the reasons why African homes are on the rise. Divorce is on the rise in African homes. Number 2 reason is lack of affection. A lot of African men don't have affection. I can count like 10 African men that I know that don't tell their wives, I love you. I can count. When you ask them, they say, oh, my love is in my heart. How is your wife going to go to your heart and get the love? But these same men, when they go outside, they see other husbands, they see other men being affectionate to their wives. They love it. But the same thing, they can't bring that same thing home. They can't bring it home. They still expect the wife to, just, yeah, I married you, so what? You're not going nowhere. They forget that once we come here, we women, we easily change to a culture. We easily imbibe into a new culture. We easily adapt. It's hard for African men to adapt into a new culture, but we women, we can adapt. So from home, we are not raised with being affectionate. We are not raised your husband got to show you love, your husband got to say I love you and all of those stuff. But when we come here, we learn so fast. We women want you to show us affection. We want you to touch us. We want you to tell us you are beautiful. We want you to say let's do stuff together. Let's go places. Let's do stuff, not just doing stuff with just our children, but time together. You see, when I go out with my friends, my American friends, it's hard. You go to a bar or you go to a restaurant. I mean restaurants. For you to see an African husband and wife eating at TGI Friday or eating at one of these fancy restaurants. Do you know where you always see African men with their family? Hibachi Grill, Golden Corral, all you can eat. That's where you see them. But your wife is telling you, I want time out. I want time with you. I want us to have time together, just you and I. African men, they don't learn that fast. It's hard for them to bring that to their wives. It's hard, but when they go outside, they love it when other men are showing their wives affection, but it's hard for them. And again, one of the reasons why divorce is on the rise is a lot of these men are not supportive. A lot of African men are not supportive. They like to oppress their wives. They like to talk down on their wives. They like to neglect their wives. They like their wives to be fat. They don't want anybody looking at their wives. They don't compliment their wives. If you don't do those things for your wife, when they start getting that attention from somebody else, they're going to leave you behind, right? They're going to leave you to somebody else. So for the fact that you married her, I married her from Africa, so she should remain who she is. She shouldn't change. She should just take me for who I am. We're all human beings. Even little children, when you tell children you're beautiful, you look cute, you see the child, oh, next time when that child sees you, that child is going to run to you because uncle or auntie said you are a beautiful child. That's the same thing we expect from our men. When you tell us we are beautiful, when you tell us that I'm here to support you, I'm here to compliment you, I got your back. You see your wife blossoming. You see your wife. I don't know how to say this. Show us attention. Just show us attention. and intimacy. A lot of African men need to learn how to please their wives. I'm not going to go too much in detail when it comes to intimacy, but a lot of African men, it's not about you. When it comes to lovemaking, when it comes to tenderness, when it comes to intimacy, it's not all about you. It's about satisfying your wife and your wife also satisfying you. It's about asking your wife, what do you like? How may I please you? It's not about you, because a lot of African men, they don't please their wives. Now when your wife, which I don't advocate, but when your wife start getting that affection from somebody else, when she gets pleased by somebody else, she will leave you behind. And what African men will always say, I should have left her back home. I brought her to this country. Yeah, you brought her to this country not to enslave her, not for her to be in prison because she married you. Let her blossom. Let her enjoy life. Enjoy life with her. Bring the best out of your wife. Don't cage your wife. I made a video the other time. I titled, "Is marriage a life sentence?" Marriage shouldn't be a life sentence. Marriage should be where you blossom. Marriage should be where you showcase the gifts that God gave you. Marriage is where there should be comfort, there should be love, there should be affection, there should be togetherness. That's what marriage should be. It shouldn't be a place where you muzzle the ass that tread the corn. It shouldn't be a place where you ridicule a woman, you talk down on a woman because you brought her to America. Oh, she Americanized. Oh, she changed. But you're not looking at the things that you did that made her change. I don't believe that a woman marries and says, after 2 years or 3 years or 10 years, I'm going to divorce my husband. It's because of the things that we experience in our marriages that make us want to leave. For me, with my situation was really tough. It was a whole lot of promiscuity in my marriage. Still yet, I didn't leave. I stayed for 13 years. The person who was mistreating me, maltreating me, bringing women to my matrimonial bed, left, divorced me without my knowledge. I still did not leave. So we don't marry, we women, we don't get married and say we're going to divorce after a certain time. We marry because we are nurturers. We are caretakers. But we need help from our men. The Bible says, can two walk together except they're in agreement? We need help. We need tapping on the shoulder. I remember a story of a young man who just got married, and he comes back home around 5 o'clock, and the wife comes back home around 8 o'clock. Guess what? When he comes back home, he will be watching football, he will be watching basketball, whatever on the TV he will be watching until the wife gets home around 8 o'clock. That's when she was going to go to the kitchen, start cooking spaghetti or start cooking rice, start taking care of the children, start doing everything in the house. Then put the food on the table, serve the husband, serve the children, take her shower, take care of the husband in bed and sleep. Then in the morning she goes to work. It became overwhelming. She became overwhelmed. When she called me, she was telling me this. I called the husband. I said, you come back home before your wife. When you get home, why don't you take the tomatoes and start cutting? Why don't you take the onions, start cutting? Why don't you start boiling the spaghetti or boiling the white rice? So when your wife gets home, it will just be easier for her to just whip the sauce and bam, food is cooked. But now what you want her to do is come back home by 8 p.m. and still take care of everybody and still cook in the kitchen. And his response was, I'm a traditional African man. I said, look at you. Do you know what traditional African man means? It means that your wife don't have to work. Your wife stays home while you go and make the money. You bring it back. When you come back home with the money, your food is waiting for you on the table because your wife is home taking care of the children, making sure your meal is blazing hot when you get home. That's what being a traditional man means. So you telling me you want to eat your cake and have it. You want to be a traditional man when it suits you. Traditional men don't cross their arms, their feet, and be watching basketball. Traditional men are out there striving. Traditional men are out there. They are go-getters. They are out there achieving life. They come back home when everyone else is asleep because they are busy grinding. They are busy making sure their family don't lack nothing. That's what being a traditional man is. So when you come back home before your wife, start cooking, start cleaning, start doing something, clean the bathroom. Make it easier for that woman to want to be with you. Make it easier for her to want to be with you. Because when you make it, I saw a video of a woman who was telling the husband, get out of the house. The man was saying, I brought you, it's in UK. The man was saying, I brought you to this country, I brought you to this country. The woman said, I'm tired. I work 20 hours, I come back home, there's no help. I'm tired. Mentally, she was tired or she's tired. It gets on us. So we need help from you, our brothers, so we can stay together. I will talk to you next time. Remember, my book is on Amazon, Women's 10 Rules for a Happy Life. And this one is my latest book, The Hidden Diary of a Bishop's Wife, My Untold Truth. Here I wrote about my marriage to a bishop and how he left me, how he divorced me without my knowledge. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and also send my video to your family and friends. My other YouTube channel where I talk about business stuff is JSP Business Talks with Jenny. JSP Business Talks, because I can't do everything on one channel. So it's JSP Business Talks. I'm going to put the link in the description box or up here somewhere. So go and subscribe to my other channel also. And I will see you next time. Remember that the Lord is the strength of a woman, and nobody's going to love you more than you love yourself. I will talk to you next time. Bye.